All right, Virgo, this is your mid-December 2020 love horoscope and Taroscope. I'm Ryan with Arrows of Love. We're going to get into the Angels Oracle and the Tarot, but first, we review the stars in the sky to see how this is all going to play out in your personal life. Virgo, the sun is sitting in Sagittarius, which is your fourth house. Sagittarius is 4 signs past Virgo. The fourth house represents home, family, foundations, the mother. Fourth house is ruled by Cancer, so it's associated with anything involving Cancer. The sun's going to be there for the next couple of days until December 21st, which is the winter solstice, and then it's going to move into Capricorn, into your 5th house of romance, children, creativity, and fun and games. So this is a fun house for the most part, and love could be in the air very soon for you, Virgo, if you're looking for it, or if you're looking to spice it up. If you're in a partnership, this would be a great time after the 21st. Saturn and Jupiter, we've talked about the great conjunction. The two heavy hitter planets of our solar system have been meeting up in Capricorn in your 5th house of romance, fun, children, games. Jupiter's been there for the last year, since December 2019. Saturn's been there for the last 3 years, December 2017. And it could have felt like a push and a pull over the last 3 years in this department. 1 step forward, 2 steps backwards, or 2 steps forward, 1 step backwards. Saturn restricts and delays things. It's about hard lessons. It's about karma. And then Jupiter, the great benefic of our solar system, just expands whatever is next to it. So it can be very lucky. It can bring in great things. But if it's sitting next to a malefic planet like Saturn, it just expands the Saturnian energy. So it could have felt like, things are just not going along very well in that love department. If you're trying to have kids, COVID-19 obviously can't have a ton of fun these days because we're all stuck at home. The heavy hitters are finally moving out of Capricorn. Saturn moved out of Capricorn on December 17th. Jupiter moved out of Capricorn today. They're going to move into Aquarius, which is your 6th house of work, routine, health, and service. And they're going to be there, at least Saturn will be there for the next 2.5, 3 years, and Jupiter is going to be there for the next year. They're going to meet at 0 degrees of Aquarius on December 21st, the same day that the sun moves into Capricorn, your 5th house. It's kind of like a review of all of 2021, essentially. You're going to see some shifts occur, okay? If things have been stale in the love department, you're going to see a revitalization now that the 2 heavy hitters are out of there. And you're going to start focusing your attention more on the work, routine, health, service aspect of your life. Jupiter's going to cruise through Aquarius very quickly. And Jupiter does very well in Aquarius. Jupiter's in its fall position in Capricorn. Things don't go necessarily very well with Jupiter in Capricorn. We see things like the pandemic. The last time Jupiter was in Capricorn, we saw the 2008 financial crisis. So now Jupiter picks up dignity by the very fact that it's moving out of Capricorn. Saturn is a co-ruler of Capricorn with Uranus. We'll get to that in a little bit. But what you need to know right now is that Jupiter is very happy there. Things pick up. It's going to feel lighter. It's going to feel like we're finally making forward progress, but not just quite yet because the 2 are still aligned. They're conjunct, and it takes a while for these slower moving planets to move along. Jupiter's the faster moving one. It's going to cruise through Aquarius very quickly and go into Pisces, which is your 7th house of partnerships, marriage, one-on-one relationships, and legal contracts. So you're going to start to see glimmers of where this is going for you, Virgo, around that May-June timeframe when Jupiter hits Pisces. Jupiter is at home in Pisces. It's the co-ruler of Pisces. Jupiter's then going to retrograde back into Aquarius, and you're going to have to do some review of the work, health, routine area. So just know that December 21st is a big day. Finally, Saturn rules Capricorn, so it's the dispositor, so to speak, in Capricorn, so Jupiter can't do a whole lot in there. So if things just felt really bogged down on that love department, That's the reason why things are going to change very quickly for you. At least over the next couple of months, not tomorrow. Venus, goddess of love and relationships, is out of Scorpio, and she moved into Sagittarius on December 15th. So just a few days ago. Venus is going to be there until January 8th. Again, Sagittarius is 4 signs past Virgo. This is home, family, foundation, deals with, the mother too. So Venus is going to pick up dignity as well. Venus is in its detriment state in Scorpio because Venus rules Taurus, which is on the opposite side of the wheel from Scorpio. So the very fact that Scorpio is moving out of Venus is moving out of Scorpio and into Sagittarius, it's good for Venus. Venus rules money, love, relationships, all the good feels. So you should feel a little bit more like Christmas time, around the 21st, around that, because Jupiter rules Sagittarius out of its fall position now in Capricorn into Aquarius, thank God. So now Venus can actually bestow its gifts. Jupiter is the great benefic, the larger planet. Venus is the lesser benefic. They both rain gifts where they happen to be, and now they're not hindered by some of these more detrimental states that they've been in. Venus, however, is going to make an awkward angle. It's called a quincunx, a 150-degree angle over to Uranus, which is the great liberator, change agent, works through shock and awe in your 9th house of higher education, higher beliefs, personal beliefs, and long-distance travel. So there might be some delays in the holidays. Maybe there's some frustration in the airport or trying to get home, trying to see family. It's just an annoyance. That's what a quincunx is. At the very same time, though, Venus is also making an antitia over to Pluto in your 5th house. Pluto's been sitting in the 5th house for quite some time, deconstructing your romance department, making sure things are built on a solid foundation. An antitia, what you need to know about an antitia is this. It's things we don't see coming. So now that's happening in your 5th house. So if you're single, be wary of who you're hanging out with. Make sure you're doing your due diligence on these people, because you might find out that someone presents themselves one way, but in fact, it's something completely different. If you're, again, this could be anything with travel, because there is this long distance travel aspect with the 9th house. So if you're doing any, vacationing, if you can, during this time, just be wary about who you're hanging out with, because they might not be exactly as they seem. If you're coupled up, same thing. You might be trying to get that spark going again, but there's something there that needs to be addressed. There's something there you're not seeing just quite yet. Venus is going to move past these awkward angles on the 22nd, so just be aware of what's happening on the 21st. Got some big energies moving with Saturn and Jupiter out of your 5th house of romance and into the 6th of work, health, and routine, but Venus is still sitting there trying to soothe some things over, in the 4th. So watch what's happening, because it's something with home, possibly with family, trying to see family, and maybe things come up that you just really didn't expect. The 23rd rolls around, and Mars, aggressive Mars, is going to make a square, a challenging aspect over to Pluto. So Mars has been sitting in Aries for quite some time, and it was going through its retrograde from September through November, but it's still not out of that shadow period yet. So you're still dealing with some things regarding your 8th house. The 8th house is sex, taxes, death, things unseen, lump sums, joint ventures. There's something here you're not seeing just quite yet, because Mars and Pluto are the co-rulers of Scorpio. Scorpio is the underworld. Scorpio is very secretive. It's also very emotionally intense. And it has to deal with things like passion, transformation, death, lump sums. So this hard angle sitting in your 8th house over your 5th house of romance, like I said, you might be having some issues on that romance front or trying to rekindle the flame. There's something here with power dynamics, power struggles, and aggressive energy that is not going to produce what it is you want. So you need to disengage from any type of power struggles around the 23rd. It's a hard energy to get through. Mars has been making this aspect of Pluto throughout September, October, November. It's a 3-time occurrence. So this is the last aspect as Mars is now moving forward again after its retrograde motion. But this is kind of like, it's the last review, so to speak. What's interesting about this is because Mars is in its home sign of Aries, it's squaring its Pluto, which also rules Scorpio, and Mars traditionally ruled Scorpio. So I did some research. Anytime that Mars moves around the sun about once every 2 years. So for it to go into retrograde motion, it doesn't happen very often. The fact that it's happening in its home sign happens even less frequently. So I did a little bit of research. Mars in November 1941 was retrograding through Aries. Uranus, which is sitting in Taurus right now, Uranus was also in Taurus in 1941. So the two planets, Mars and Taurus, both in the signs they're in right now. December 7th rolls around 1941. That's Pearl Harbor. It's things you don't see. It's power battles. It's covert action. You can liken this to the recent cybersecurity attack. It's things that we didn't see coming. It's covert action. Pluto's the underworld. It's things bubbling up that we didn't have knowledge of before. And Mars can be very aggressive. So this is aggressive action. This aspect occurred with Mars retrograding through Aries again in November 1973. During this time, the Greek president was ousted from his seat. It was bloodless, but he still nonetheless lost his seat. So you can kind of see where I'm going with this. This is about power struggles. The last time Mars retrograded through Aries was August of 1988. During that time, the Iran-Iraq war was occurring, and 50,000 Kurds were killed by chemical agents. And at that time, Mars was making a hard aspect, a 90-degree square over to Neptune. Nebulous Neptune creates clouds, it's hazy, so you can see the connection with chemical agents here. I'm not trying to scare you, I'm trying to demonstrate this is the type of energy that it produces. It produces aggressive attacks. So you need to be very wary about who you're hanging out with, making sure they're on the up and up, because you don't want to be engaged in any type of power dynamics around the 23rd. You need to not engage at all, because this could leave a wake of destruction and it's not going to end well. So Virgo, you can be very exacting, and the negative side of Virgo can be very critical of others. So you need to restrain yourself that day. Don't do any nagging. Make sure that you have something to do when the mind is focused on something, because this is a day where people get in trouble. As if that wasn't enough. December 30th rolls around and we have the Cancer full moon. Cancer, 2020 started off with the Cancer full moon and it's ending with the Cancer full moon. So the moon rules Cancer. This is an emotional moon. Cancer is your 11th house of hopes, wishes, dreams, group associations, and friends. The sun is sitting over in the 5th house of romance. So again, if you're single and you got a friends with benefits situation going on, full moons are always about culminations, illuminations. It's the end of a cycle. So if anything with kids, if you're trying to have a child, the 30th might be a good day to try. Cancer also is about the mother, so you can follow the logic here, but full moons are usually about endings. It's sitting on the 11th, excuse me, and the 5th. So if you're single, just be wary who you're hanging out with. That Intisha aspect on the 21st can bring some things that you just did not expect. So, keep an eye on who you're hanging out with. Make sure that it's people that you know. Don't jump into anything too quickly. If you're paired up, the same applies. especially with this being around New Year's, make sure that you're around familiar people. All right. So let's pull some Tarot and some Angels Oracle, Virgo. Let's see what's happening with you. A lot happening in that fifth house. Romance, fun, games, children. Work is going to be a big one too in 2021. Yeah, that December 23rd date though, keep an eye on the news. We might hear more about these cyber attacks. Other things might be coming. This can play out on the political landscape. This can play out on the personal landscape. And Mars has been sitting in Aries for quite some time. So we're all ready for him to move on. All right, Virgo, here we go. 2 cards of the Angels Oracle, and then we'll dive a little bit further with the Tarot. Attraction. You attract romantic love by enjoying this moment fully. Very nice. Attraction. Pluto is magnetic energy. So if it just draws people in, if you have any personal aspects to Pluto. So if any of your personal planets are sitting around Pluto, you have a magnetic energy. Pluto is, rules the 8th house of Scorpio. That's intimacy. Mars is the traditional ruler. So you could very well, trying to bring that person in, right? And if you're partnered up, maybe you're working on yourself a little bit to reignite the flame, so to speak. Playfulness. To recapture romance, allow your inner youthful spirit of fun to shine. Well, that is 5th house. Fun, games, your inner spirit. You have to harness that 5th house energy, right? The sun moves into your 5th house on the 21st. It's a big shift. It's a big shift. The sun also brings good things when it's sitting in that house. So keep an eye open. If you're single, you might find someone. If you're paired up, hey, you know what? If you've been working on yourself over the last year, it's time to have some fun with your partner. Look for ways to do that. You can find ways to do this. You got to be a little creative. That's the 5th house too, creativity. Do one more shuffle, Virgo, and then we're gonna pull some Tarot for you. All right. Oh, this one wanted to come out. Judgment. Making a decision. 4 of Cups. Queen of Pentacles. Earth energy. Ooh, 10 of Cups. This is a great card, Virgo. All right, death. Something's got to come to an end. And we talked about 8th house, right? That's Scorpio. That's Scorpio energy. That's Pluto. It's transformation. It's ending. So that's not surprising. We have a full moon. That's culminations, right? So let's just see Page of Cups. Messages. All right, Virgo. Got some good stuff here. So attraction, playfulness, trying to rekindle the spirit, trying to bring in, a fun partner, or trying to rekindle the love, right? So you need to make this. You need to make a decision here, and if you're trying to bring someone in. Maybe you're thinking about it. Maybe you got a few people on your radar if you're single, but this is the man saying, he's got his arms folded here. That critical eye of Virgo might be taking stock of his options, what to do next. You got to make a decision, or perhaps there was a judgment. Maybe things have ended on a different relationship, and now you're deciding which direction to go. Because the next card you have here is the Queen of Pentacles. This is Earth energy. This could potentially be you, Virgo. Could also be a Taurus or a Capricorn. But the Queen is methodical. She looks before she leaps. She's good financially, but she's stable. She doesn't do an impulsive, she's not a very impulsive person. Don't get hung up on gender here. This could also be a male. But I think it's more or less you. You're taking stock, right? What's next? I'll tell you what's next. Some type of happiness, but something had to come to an end, or something has to come to an end. Because if you want to recapture romance, it looks like there was something ending, right? Like the Judgment card can be endings, and you can see that. But to recapture playfulness in your relationship, I think for you, there's probably something going on with you that needs to come to an end. Death is endings. It's not a physical death necessarily. I don't see anything that indicates that. But to get to 10, which is fulfillment, look at it's the happy couple with the kids in the house, and they got the rainbow, and everything looks great, right? To get to that, something needs to come to an end, it looks like. To recapture that romance, allow your inner youthful spirit to have fun. Maybe you're just really bogged down right now. Work. Jupiter and Saturn are moving into that work house. Maybe you're just working too much. Maybe you got to take some time off and rest. Get back to the family. Get back to you. Work on you. Virgo, your biggest thing in life is to work on that self-confidence. So if that rings true, it's time to work on you. 2021 is coming up. It's also a great time to make resolutions. So you want this great life, right? Like, this is what we all try to strive for. But the universe is asking you to give something up to get there. So whether it's work, whether it's something going on with you that's you're bogged down, if it's an ex, if it's if you're partnered up, maybe you just need a time out and you need to rest and, try and take a vacation if you can. Do something to switch things up, switch up the routine. And I think you're going to know what it is, because the last one here, is the page. So the page can be a message. The page also represents children, which is your 5th house. So if you're trying to rekindle a spirit and you're in a partnership here, death could very well mean the end of your relationship without children. Someone might be getting pregnant. There's children right here. New start with the family. This is also messages. So, this is you having a heartfelt conversation, if you're partnered up, about how to rekindle that playfulness and having fun and being creative about it, right? A lot of us have been locked down for a while, so you might be running out of options here. But having a conversation about it and one that's heartfelt and not critical would be key for you. This could also represent children if you're trying to get pregnant. Let's pull one more card, Virgo, to see how this ends. Oh, okay. It's the 8 of Pentacles. You're going to work on this for a while. You're going to work on you for a while. I think that's what the message is here. You got to go back to the drawing board. You got to make some goals for 2021. What needs to change? This is calling for a change. And this is Pluto energy, right? Pluto is sitting in that 5th house. You need that playfulness energy, right? You're missing something in the relationship. You got to go back. You got to go back to the drawing board and think about what it is. But I think what it is it's a consideration of children, for one, if you're trying to have it, or if it's not, then you need to have a heartfelt conversation about what's missing, because you've been working hard, you've been building up. But I think it's more or less you needing some time to reflect. Take some time out for you. It's the end of the year. Things are going to get a little intense in the sky with the full moon and Mars doing its thing with the 8th and the 5th and trying to figure out what's next. It's intimacy, it's playfulness, it's romance, it's children. And this is the work card. So, the outcome could very well be with Saturn and Jupiter moving into your 6th house of work. It's going to be a time of you making those pentacles and toiling away. That's another interpretation of this. This message won't resonate with everyone. This is a general reading, so take a look at your rising sign, your moon, and your Venus if you're watching for your sun sign. I hope you enjoyed this video, Virgo. We're going to do a more in-depth analysis of what's coming up for 2021 in the coming weeks, so pay attention for that. If you like these videos, please subscribe. Click that like button. It helps the channel, and we'll talk to you next time. Virgo, take care.